I have a story to tell y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all the story over this beat, okay? I made this earlier today. I'm gonna let y'all hear the beat real quick. First thing I made today. So, I got a little brief story to tell y'all. Just to kind of give y'all a little update about, me as a person. I feel like I don't ever, tell y'all stories about, what's going on personally. But, yesterday I've, I have these days where I wake up and I try to figure out, what is the next thing? What is the next space? And I felt like for the last 4 months, I felt like I've been in this space of just kind of reaching close to the place I've been always wanting to get to, and something always stops it, You ever feel like you're like life kind of stops you where you're at just for a moment and be like, you're not there yet. You still need to learn some things. And so, I've been taking the last couple months to kind of, beyond traveling, just take a moment to kind of embrace where I'm at. And I feel like I haven't really been as thankful as I could be, And it's funny because a lot of me being grateful and thankful for things is dude, there is a huge combination of people who actually support me, and I don't actually take the time out to actually thank them. I just kind of move, tunnel vision, So, I had a moment yesterday, and it was very, very small, but I was around my house. I was walking around my house, just taking care of stuff, cleaning stuff, and I noticed that there was this fly kind of buzzing around the house. And so it wasn't a small fly. It was a big, see my eye? This is how big the fly was. It was see my finger? It was that big, huge. And so I remember I was trying to chase this thing to spray it, because it was just, you can hear it and you can see it. It was annoying, but it was massive as heck. It looked like a bot fly. So I caught the bot fly. I caught it in the shades. I have a shade that covers up the window where you can flip them. And when I caught the fly, I sprayed it. But here's the craziest part. When I sprayed the ant spray, the bug spray, I accidentally ingested a little bit of the poison that was inside of that can. And I didn't realize how close I got to it, because I wanted to make sure the fly was dead, but I ingested a little bit of that poison. And it made me feel weird, dude. Appreciate the subscription. But it made me feel weird. My chest started aching a little bit. I'm huh. I don't feel, yeah. I don't feel crazy, but I felt I'm checking my extremities, I'm checking everything, am I good? And so I feel better now. I feel way, way better now. Cause yesterday I was just slow. I was super slow. I was a little sluggish. And I don't know, I had a moment where it was like, I don't want to say this is how I feel, but I felt weird, you know? And it hit me where like my heart started to like, I felt my heart beating, bro. And I don't ever feel that. That's something I've never really felt before. And I just started like freaking out a little bit. And then, I don't know. And also I'm like, I don't really talk about my faith much, but I am a believer. And I took a moment to just kind of like pray, get my heart, kind of like to chill out for a sec. And usually there's this thing where like, if I'm freaking out about life, I'll just kind of like pause. Like I'll just straight up pause. And it reminded me like, yo, nothing's gonna happen, but remind yourself that like, you got life. You got life. And so I just want to say that I'm like very thankful for my life, for my like health. Like I'm right now like in the best shape of my life. You know, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm in the best headspace of my life. I feel like I have a glow when I walk around. It's very crazy, bro. But I had that moment, you know, yesterday where it was like, I needed to slow down and just kind of like, just think. But man, when you feel that grace, dude, it's a whole different thing. A whole different thing. But that happened, and it just reminded me about like how good, you know, life is and how good God is. So that's all I wanted to share. As well, like, you know, man, I feel like I'm in a space where like I've went through some crazy relationships in my past. Like, I don't have to get into the details, but I feel like I reached that place where I'm in like a healed space. You know, I feel like I feel like I've like started to address the things that I grew up not being able to talk about or being uncomfortable to talk about. And it's like, you know, I actually feel like I've come to peace now and accept the person that I am now. You know, and man, if I were to tell y'all about like how stressed and overwhelmed I used to be, like, let's go back 2020, right? Matter of fact, back before that, I remember I was in a constant day of like exhausting. I was super exhausted. And I was getting stressed out because I knew money was gonna have to be due, bills were gonna have to be paid. I can't control anything. I just have to kind of submit and accept where I'm at. And I've been gracious enough to have God kind of like provide throughout all of it. So that's what I have to remind myself of. And I had that moment yesterday, and I just wanted to share that with y'all. So big facts. As well, this beat made me think about it. This was literally the first beat I made today. So that was crazy. I'm gonna have to save that. And I'll show y'all what I did for this too. So as y'all can see here, I'm an open spirit, but DBH, but I like when people find something they believe in and hold on to that. Yeah, bro. It's funny because like I feel like that's probably the reason why like I gravitate so heavy to gospel. And I've gravitated to gospel for years for that reason. And it's a huge foundational piece, you know. It's a foundational piece of peace. It goes into all the music, but I'm thankful. And I think with so much going on right now in the world, and, you know, social media being like, you need this, you need that, like, dude, like, be thankful for what you got right now, like, man. So, but yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna tell y'all real quick what I did for this beat. Of course, I recorded the drums here. Got the piano, of course. Got the central bass rack. And I named it I'm Healed. This beat, I'm healed because I feel like I got on a space where I feel like I like cracked that code with life. Cause you know, folks be talking about like, man, like I'm hurting. I feel like I started to address the problems I've always dealt with within my life. And like even last year, I went through this really, really intense like breakup at the end of the year. And I realized a lot of that was a reflection of where I was personally. You know, it was like a reflection, you know, it all reflected back to where I was. And so I think now looking back at it like 9 months later, I feel like I've been able to put that part of my life in this not compartment, but like it's something I've made peace with. Man, it's so not easy going back to those places that hurt, but once you stop hurting, you can choose. Listen, this is when I realized. This is when I realized like how like God created like the mind and stuff. Cause like when I realized you can choose how you feel, even when you actively don't feel it in the moment, you can choose. You can choose how you are feeling and move forward. You don't have to stay there anymore. No one's actively doing this to you anymore. You're still and of course, like we're human. We're gonna experience like heaviness and trauma, but like you ain't gotta stay there though. You can let it go. You can let it be exactly what it was. Call a spade and move on. My grandmother, because my grandmother's also a pastor, she used to say this thing in church. She'll be like, "Get over it!" And no one wanted to hear that in church. They're like, "I don't want to get over it." You gotta get over it. Straight up. So, yeah, she used to yell that in church, bro. She was like, "Who hurt you? Get over it!" But for real though, you got to, bro. You got to, because if not, that thing is gonna dictate what you want to do. But shout out to my nana, bro. Shout out to my nana, man. Let me get this little ginger piece for the sushi. Shout out to Mad Keys. Mad Keys is in the chat. This is great. As well, if y'all like me doing this, I've been thinking about doing more stories with my beats, because I feel like all my beats do tell a story, but I've never vocally talked about it, you know? So if y'all are down, I can do this more as I do more Twitch streams. I'll definitely do this more. Stories help us because we are all very similar. Man, another crazy code is like, I don't know if anybody's ever heard the term about like, you know, and this is actually crazy. And this is the last thing I'll do to like talk about stories, right? But at the beginning of this year, I had this like epiphany that all people who are making rap and like hip hop and all these kind of like urban genres that we love listening to are gonna start making rock music. Like everybody's just gonna start making rock music, but it's like folks that's been making hip hop music for years. And I don't know what hit me, but I felt like I was led to have this idea called Mirrors. It's an album that I started on working on the beginning of this year, but that's not the new project that I'm about to drop. So don't think that I'm telling y'all about the project I'm about to drop, but it's like a basis of where I'm gonna be going. So I made a whole project called Mirrors. And the whole thing is like rock, bluesy, funky influence. And I went through recording all of it, and I realized at that time, a lot of the way that I thought about the world was starting to mimic itself in front of me. And it made me overall think like the world is the way that you kind of like perceive it to be. Like, of course, human nature is human nature, but the world kind of like, and especially the way you think, the world will mimic your mind, you know? And I didn't realize like Mirrors was like a record where like in my mind I wanted to make stuff that sounded like I was like making rock music in the 90s. And so I didn't realize the reason I ended up in certain relationships, the reason why I had so many good friends in music, the reason why I had great friendships but I didn't have good relationships is because in music, it's like, you know, when you meet someone in music for the first time and you realize you click, and then once you click, you end up staying up late making beats with them for like hours till like 3 a.m. in the morning. It's because something about you and that other person connected. It's like you guys are like the same person. But I realized I did not know who I was. I did not know who I was last year. It was like, and it was a buddy of mine told me this specifically. He was like, you are holding on to a part of yourself that is dying. And I think what needs to happen is you need to learn how to let go of that person or forgive that person that isn't there, you know? Like, he's not there anymore. Like, you're, like, I received so many opportunities and blessing last year, and I allowed someone else's space, someone else's energy to, like, change the course that my life was being put on. I started to put someone else's importance ahead of my importance. But I realized in order to have a great relationship, you have to have two individuals that are like good on their own, and then they create something, not the other way. You know, of course, like, you're gonna be inspired and influenced by your friends, but you should not ever want to see a fulfilled need in someone else. You have to fulfill that need on your own. And so it was killing me, bro. It was really, really killing me last year. And I wanted so hard to, like, not accept the fact that this might be true. But I was like, gee, I have to tell the honest truth. And I think I have to let go of this dying. I have to let go of this. I have to let this thing die. Let that thing die. And my partner right now, she's like, bro, it's in the grave. It's in the grave. And when it's in the grave, let it go. Don't even go back. Don't even come back. Yeah. But I digress. I love y'all. I just wanted to share that story with y'all. Expect me to be talking like this way more, because I got stuff to say. All right. I'm gonna let this roll out. And it ended in a major, so I guess it's happy. I guess it's very happy. We're all the same people here. That's why y'all here. Listen, if you can't have an intelligent conversation under like some deep music, then I'm sorry. All right, let's make some stuff.